Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Police probe wounding of two women during shootout in Halfway Tree last evening, wounds not deemed life-threatening. Head of the Police Communications Unit, Senior Superintendent Stephanie Lindsay, the wounds sustained by two women during a shootout in Halfway Tree on October 24 are not considered to be life-threatening. In providing an update, SSP Lindsay explained that the women, who are being treated at hospital, were wounded after police attempted to apprehend a man who engaged them in a shootout. She said the incident is being probed by the Halfway Tree Crime and Investigations Department.
Detectives attached to the Halfway Tree Criminal Investigation Department are investigating the circumstances under which two females were shot and injured last evening in Halfway Tree. It's reported that a group of police officers from the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Department were on duty in Halfway Tree when they observed a man whose action drew their attention. They proceeded to search him and he pulled a firearm and fired at the police. The police did return fire. The man attempted to escape. However, he was apprehended and an illegal firearm taken from him. The females were taken to hospital where they were treated. Their condition are not considered life-threatening at this time, so they continue to receive treatment.
Transport Group calls for probe to be launched into fees charged by wrecking companies. The Transport Operators Development Sustainable Services is calling on Transport Minister Adel Shaw to launch a probe into fees charged by wrecking companies urgently. In a statement, TOTS President Hector Newman bemoaned the high fees. He said the transport sector wants to know if a third party is benefiting from these high fees and how a wrecking company is assigned to wreck public passengers' vehicle.
For the past 10, 15 years, the public transport sector has been under siege by wrecking companies. The wrecking company, members of the state, and therefore we are calling the government to investigate at the highest level fees charged by wrecking companies and the fees that are being put forward by the Transport Authority. We believe that we have been charged 300, in some cases 400% more than the fees set by the Transport Authority. And we believe that there are persons at very important level of the state who is in collusion with the wrecking company and charge us these fees. And we are calling the Transport Authority to reset the fees, make it public, because we cannot continue to pay up to $65,000 for a record that we charge $8,000 and $15,000. We cannot take it any longer, and we are calling upon the government to engage in the highest level investigation on fees charged by the wrecking companies.
PM says keen attention will be given to rehabilitation works to take place along Fairfield to Point Retirement to Hurlock Roadway in St. James. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says keen attention will be given to rehabilitation works to take place along the Fairfield to Point Retirement to Hurlock Roadway in St. James. A contract for the road work was signed on October 24. Residents brought the road over the deplorable condition even as the contract was being signed. This is the third phase of rehabilitation, which will address 1.8 kilometers of the roadway at a cost of $165 million. The project is funded by the National Works Agency and the Tourism Enhancement Fund. The National Works Agency said the road is a gateway to Upper St. James, as well as one of the main arterial links from St. Elizabeth. Prime Minister Andrew Holness said the road is being built according to its use.
But this is not just asphalt. I want to emphasize that. We have to build the road according to its use. We know that along that corridor, there are several quarrying activities that take place, several heavy trucks that use the area. We also know that the road as built has no drainage, and so a part of the deterioration of the surface is that the entire road becomes a gully course for water, a drainage course, and so that will destroy the surface of the road. Now, in this, we're using HDP pipes and culverts to build proper drainage. This will mean excavation of the rocks that are to the side of the road and to dig the trenches. So this will, extend the time of the work. It's significant work that will be done. But one of the things that I will be paying special attention to is that in the contract, the depth of asphalt that will be used will be twice the usual amount. So I am going to be sure that the NWA comes back to me with its engineering report that actually twice the recommended amount is used. Why? Or the standard amount rather. Why? Because of the heavy axle weight that this section of the road will use in taking trucks and heavy equipment that will traverse from the various quarrying activities. It is a road as well that connects to certain attractions, and so we have said as well that it is not just about throwing down the asphalt. The road itself must look good. One of the things we don't do well in Jamaica is to pay attention to the streetscape and the aesthetics of the actual built infrastructure. The concrete is just laid without care, the sidewalks are laid irregularly, and it just looks like a cobbler did the work.
Business and consumer confidence up for third quarter of this year. Consumer confidence for July to September period this year increased by 4.2%. Chief Executive Officer of Market Research Services Limited, Don Anderson, made the disclosure during this morning, October 25th, third quarter business and consumer confidence index webinar. Mr. Anderson explained that the increase is attributed to several factors, including that consumers have a more positive perspective of business conditions in the country.
We asked consumers to give us a reading on how they saw current business conditions and current jobs. And it says that in the third quarter of 2022, 14.3% of the consumers, of the 640 odd people we interviewed, felt that current business conditions were good. And this was an improvement from 10.5% over the equivalent period in 2021. So that's an interesting and important change over that period. Let's look at the corresponding situation in terms of how consumers view current business conditions. In the third quarter of 2021, 33% of the consumers felt that current business conditions were bad. That fell to 22% in the third quarter of 2022. So that matches up and strengthens the whole view that current business conditions from the consumer's perspective are actually better than they were at the same time last year. This is an important factor that obviously for consumers, they tend to look at to see, well, what are they likely to be able to do with disposable income? In the third quarter of 2021, 5.9% of the persons that we interviewed said that jobs were plentiful. Consumers have never ever felt that jobs were largely plentiful. But here, 5.9% said jobs in 2021 third quarter were plentiful. That moved to 9.1% in third quarter of 2022. And obviously, there's a corresponding decline in the number of consumers who felt that jobs were in short supply. 71.7% in third quarter 2021, down to 51.2%. That's a significant fall off. And what's interesting to note in that middle block, those who consider current jobs to be adequate, that moved from 22.3% in third quarter 2021 to 39%, almost 40%, a significant jump, who thought that jobs were adequate. We can see that whilst it is up to 147.4, it still has not yet come back to the peak of 2019, which was 151. But that kind of dramatic increase, if maintained, will certainly take us back to that level and perhaps beyond. We're speculating now in the absence of the data. So what are businesses saying at the moment? We will see that the data is actually pretty dramatic. 25.4% say that they expect current profit to be better than originally anticipated. And this is up from 14% same period, third quarter 2021. As a result, we see that in third quarter 2021, 43% of all businesses said that they felt that profits would be worse than expected. That number fell in the third quarter 2022 to 18.6%, a dramatic reduction. So in the middle of it, the largest single factors are that 55%, 56% who felt, well, it's going to be as expected. So that's the middle block. But it is worthwhile noting that there's a significant increase in the number of businesses that feel that their profits, or say that their profits are better than they expected.
Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification